A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I, Chandrika Sharma, on behalf of Her World India, would like to welcome you all to the daily talk show series, where today we would be discussing about the disastrous impact of tobacco on an individual's health and how crucial it is to change a lifestyle pattern in these modern days. We feel privileged to be hosting the show in collaboration with Policy Center and Gender Lab, Miranda House, University of Delhi. Policy Center and Gender Lab provides research opportunities in the sphere of gender studies, social sciences, and policy shape up. So today we have with us Dr. Sushil Mandhania, Senior Oncologist, Nagpur. We also have with us the founder and the editor-in-chief of Her World India, Ms. Rakhi Bakshi. Her World India is a brainchild of Mipakshi. So during the session, I request all the attendees to keep themselves on mute and turn off their videos. And if anyone has any questions, they're requested to put them in the chat box. All the questions will be taken up at the end of the session. So without much ado, I request Rakhi ma'am to commence the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so thank you so much, Chandrika, once again. And here we are talking about prevention or the no use of tobacco. And I'm so happy on behalf of Her World India, I, Rakhi Bakshi, and my team. Welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen, well-wishers and friends all across who've been telling us how to really find our way much better, encourage us, bless us, support us. And our idea is to only, provide you more information, connect you to the right kind of experts. And I'm so glad that today also we have a very esteemed speaker with us, an expert who is going to talk about the subject which is so much around us, but which is so much needs to be understood and needs to be handled with care. So I welcome now on the show Dr. Sushil Mandhania, who is a senior oncologist right now in Nagpur, but of course comes with vast experience. And we are just going to take some insights from him. To begin with, when we simply say, okay, don't use tobacco, it's not so easy. In terms of evolution in India, where have we completed the journey or coming to full circle at all or not? I mean, in 2021, how do we see ourselves in terms of tobacco use? I mean, we are so addicted to it. We are saying, no, it's not good for health, but still our numbers, in terms of numbers, using it a lot. What would you say?
As of now, first of all, thanks to the team and Rakhi Madam for invitation. And the 31st of May is the World No Tobacco Day. And the main intention of this day is to celebrate, is to create awareness among the people about the harmful effect of the tobacco. And when we talk about India, the data is very frightening. We have 138 crores right now, and we have approximate population of 40 crores who are have some form of tobacco use. So it's a very huge amount. As of now, India is the second largest producer of tobacco in world. And again, it is the second largest consumer of tobacco in world after China. And when we talk about India, approximately less than 0.5% of land is under tobacco cultivation, but it gives a generation of approximately 36 lakh jobs directly or indirectly. So there is a lot of misconception about the income which we generate through tobacco and the tobacco related diseases, because there is always an excuse given. Tobacco related income gives a lot of life, lot of wages, lot of work to the people. So when we talk about data worldwide, approximately there is 80 lakh tobacco related death every year. It's a very huge amount. And when we talk about India, it is nearly 10 to 12 lakhs tobacco related death per year. But what is more frightening is the tobacco related disabilities, diseases which are associated with the death. So when we talk about in terms of economic, I will give you a small figure. The total expenditure of income, total income what we get about the tobacco, and the total amount of expenditure which we do on tobacco. So the amount of money which the government spend on tobacco, tobacco related diseases, and the life lost in terms of hours of productivity, it is nearly 12% more than health budget of complete country. So you can imagine
Startling, I must say, startling, I must say, in terms of figures, in terms of the kind of negative impact that it has. But in India, since we as a population demography, we are so varied. How would you say that it's getting, its pattern kind of spread all over? So right from a very educated urban elite class to down there, in rural areas, we're talking about number of laborers and the class which is really maybe earning its bread every day, and they do you think they are supposed to be more vulnerable because of their own situations?
When we talk about pure data, you can see nearly 80% of the. Bye bye.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That makes
Nearly
it natural. Hi. Yeah.
80% of the world population who consume tobacco are in the middle income or lower income group. So that is again one more thing which is to be kept in mind. When we talk about India, the pattern is slightly different as compared to the Western population. We have more of the population which are non-smoking tobacco, and that is easily available. So I will talk about my place. Just for example, Nagpur is a place which is a oral cancer capital of India. What I feel nearly 40 to 43% of the patient who comes to OPD as a new patients are oral malignancy. So it's a huge malignancy, and it is just because of kharra. It is a very special form of tobacco use where we use betel nut along with lime and tobacco, and they are crushed in the plastic container, and that is with that friction it creates that kharra. So this is the pattern, and the best part about the thing is it is easily available. You can get it each and every corner. It can easily consumable, easily storable, and the workers are generally addicted because of this, because uh, it causes slightly increase in the kick, increase in the working power, and it gives anorexia, so they don't need to eat in between. So this is the one of the reason.
Doctor, when we realize this whole, extreme nature of hazard that it creates, and then of course there are legislative actions to all kinds of efforts, whether NGOs, other people who are working very, very strongly onto prevention of this all. How would you really again see it, that more importance should be given to that coordinated network, which really looks at, prevention of the use of tobacco and not leading it to oncological problems.
Yeah, this is tobacco is not a single disease. It is not a just cancer. There are is a multiple diseases which we see with the tobacco and tobacco related. And for the control of tobacco, it has to be multidimensional and a multi-pronged approach, not at the level of awareness, at the level of government, at the level of legislature. Everything has to work together. Then only I think we can have a slightly control over it, because at as of now, having said this, but what I see is this impact is increasing day by day. It is not decreasing. The reason being is we have got youngest population of the world. So this is the prone area. These are the population who are very strongly possibility of getting addicted because of for the tobacco, and the main reason being peer pressure and the surrounding, and the if there is a high chance, if you have got a colleagues who consume tobacco or consume smoking, then there is a very high chance that you are going to start that. So that means from the day one, we need to make awareness. In rural areas, what they do is they get a brush their teeth by the tobacco. That is called nas. So that means by the age of 3 or 4, they start consuming tobacco. So that is not a taboo for them. It is easily available, and it is a day-to-day thing. So I think from grassroots level, we need to make more awareness, more understanding, and to educate the people about the harm effects of the tobacco. At the same time, discourage the advertisement, paper advertisement, and it should not be made a figure of some status or fashion. So and a strong taxes and strong legislation should be in place, and at the same time there should be strong discouragement for use of tobacco in public places. You go to government offices, most of the babus and all start, they have having some kharra in their mouth. So there should be strong legislation for in non-smoking zone, non-tobacco zone, no sale of tobacco in the public places, even in the school areas. So if we can implement these things slowly, I think we can have at least a control over this mania.
I am sure one of the questions that everyone wants to ask, especially that we're facing a pandemic, is that how much smokers are vulnerable or more likely or more prone to get symptoms of COVID.
For COVID,
yeah,
there is no correlation between the COVID and smoking, but the people who are smoking for long period of time, they have got more mortality because of COVID as compared to non-smokers. The reason being the COVID mostly affects your lungs. And if you have got an underlying lung diseases in the form of COPD or lung diseases or some underlying tuberculosis because of smoking, so you have got a weaker lung as compared to the people who are non-smoking. And the mortality is more higher in those people who has got underlying lung diseases as compared to non-underlying lung diseases. So yes, definitely smoking, and the people who are smoker or long-standing smoker with the underlying lung diseases are more prone for COVID-related morbidity as well as mortality.
Okay, about women, yes, and on this platform we must ask that, ranging from how young women should not use this, and also the women who get into gestational period. No, that's all right.
I'm sorry.
We all keep doing it. It's only natural. We are in a digital age. So what I was asking is about women's health, and especially we are talking about gestational period, how it affects the whole reproductive system, the pregnancy, after effects, the babies, their weight, their growth. Please throw some more light on it as to what needs to be done. We have seen the effect, we do understand, but how critical it is and what should be done to prevent this.
There are a lot of studies in pregnancy and smoking, pregnancy and tobacco, and that it is unconvincing. It is absolutely, there is no doubt about this. It leads to a lot of low birth, congenital anomalies, stillbirth, and the abnormality, learning disability, and poorly developed brain in the fetus who are of the smoking mothers. And so the studies are very strong, but there is no correlation of smoking on the health in the terms of increase in malignancy in the fetus, but definitely the decrease in the growth, stillbirth, and the increased rates of fetal deaths are more common with the mother who are smoking. So it is strongly discouraged mothers or a pregnant lady to have smoking in any form or tobacco in any form.
So do we see a pattern in terms of more numbers that men are more likely to, for example, if they're smoking, get into cardiovascular kind of problems, or women? What is the kind of gender pattern to this?
Actually, we are in a country where the smoking population is very less. And you will see the female smoking is very less as compared to male smoking in India. On anyhow, tobacco consumption is nearly 80% of the consumption which we see in India approximately is in the form of non-smoking tobacco, and nearly 20% is in the form of smoking tobacco, which is absolutely not the case in the Western population. There is no non-smoking tobacco as of then. They have only smokers. So in our country, the women smoking is less as compared to the Western population. So that's why with the more we see is with the male gender. That's why we see more tobacco smoking related problems in the male gender. But that is not because male genders are more prone, but that is because females don't have much smoking habits in India as compared to the Western population.
Okay, let's also come to more smoking patterns and then oncological problems or otherwise. So as an oncologist, how would you really look at it? For example, the other diseases and how they get cancer of different kinds or different body parts, and then smoking. So what is the kind of bifurcation? What is the ratio or a pattern?
Most of the cancer which we see in regional areas are dependent upon your habits. I will give an example here. In Nagpur area, we see more of the oropharyngeal and esophageal malignancy, because we here is very strong use of tobacco in the form of chewing form. So generally what they do, they chew, they deglute. That's why we see more of the oral cancer, buccal mucosa cancer, base of tongue cancer, throat cancer, as well as esophageal cancer. And smoking is less in this region. There are two reasons. One is slightly social stigma associated with the smoking. Second thing is the tobacco related products are very easily available, and they are very convenient. Once you take into your mouth, you can keep it for 3 hours and 4 hours, which is not with smoking. So the pattern is the smoke related malignancies are slightly lesser, but tobacco related malignancies are more. So if you talk about broad term as a tobacco, which contains all smoking and non-smoking tobacco, so non-smoking tobacco is the male culprit in our country as a whole. In Northeast, slightly there is more of the smoking areas.
Okay. There is a question coming. Second-hand tobacco smoke. That is the question from Chandani, who's asking this.
So when we come across the data of second-hand tobacco smoke, I will give you a world data. What I said was nearly 80 lakhs tobacco-related deaths. Out of this, 1.2 million, that is 12 lakhs deaths, are because of passive smoking. Passive smoking means you are not a smoker, but you are inhaling those toxins because of the person who is next to you is smoking, and there is a continuous exposure of the smoke.
Okay. Hello. Can we hear you? Hello.
Host has muted me. Yeah. Now you can hear?
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
So, what we were talking was...
anything from how to look at further curbing it. I mean, what are the measures that we should adopt
This was,
actually as a nation?
Chandni,
What should we do at
yeah,
this stage?
Miss Chandni was talking about second-hand smoking and second-hand tobacco use. So that is the real problem, but not in the Indian subcontinent, but in worldwide, there is approximately nearly 12 lakhs deaths because of the second-hand smoking. So it is really a problem, and it should not be neglected.
How much of it is, somebody asked, to psychological problems? For example, somebody asked depression or other, it's also about the mood. Like we've seen people saying, yaar man nahi lag raha hai, tension hai, to thoda sa cigarette pee lete hain. So, I mean, what kind of relation it is to trying to avoid stress, or in fact, it adds to the stress? So please throw more light on that.
See, when we talk about tobacco, when we talk about smoking, the main gift or the reward is by nicotine. So it stimulates your neurological cells in the brain in the form of a stimulant. So it gives a kick. But at the same time, you are smoking that tobacco which contains tar, which contains 3,000 chemicals, and out of this, nearly more than 60 are carcinogenic. So you are, for a single nicotine which is giving you kick, you are inhaling approximately 3,000 chemicals along with that. So we have to understand the nicotine is the main thing which gives kick, and once the level of nicotine goes down from your body, it suddenly creates a loss of uneasiness, restlessness, sweating, tremors, and depression, what we talk. And again, the body has a craving for that substance, and once you again have that, that level is maintained in the brain. The brain is smart enough to have a continuous kick of that nicotine is to be maintained at the certain level, and by maintaining that nicotine, we are getting a lot of harmful effects of the chemicals which are bystander effect along with the tobacco, that is by smoking, that is tar, 3,000 chemicals and 60 carcinogenic chemicals.
So one, you talked about the very non-traditional methods, but we'll also talk about the traditional methods. For example, how elder people use the hookah and those other very old, traditional methods. What would you say about those elderly people who think that it's a mandatory part of their tradition to have it? And also it's related to social prevalence, that if I'm smoking or if I'm doing this, then I'm more manly than others,
See, these are the very things you can, when you talk about this thing, I had seen very this, especially in the Delhi also. We used to see in Gautam Nagar, that area has a lot of people who are on the traditional, and they used to take hookah smoking. So that means it is in the tradition, and from the child they had seen their parents, grandparents doing this. So still that generation is still there, at least in Delhi, and this is more in the villages and rural areas and tribal areas. Tribal, it is very common. Even in our Gadcholi district, women smokes, which is very uncommon with in the urban areas. But we had seen them smoking because that is a traditional thing. So that is not a taboo for them.
One question that parents would like to ask is that sometimes they've seen very young children actually, and they, out of curiosity, out of their behavior or this, quest to know more, they start smoking at a very, very early age.
Yes.
So how do parents deal with that problem?
See, it's a very difficult thing because in this digital age, you don't know what your child are doing. You feel that they are on the screen and doing their studies, but you don't know where they are. So it's very difficult for the parent at present. And what they do in the school age with the media, with a lot of exposure to the gadgets, so things have become more open for them, and they start seeing the things where they see the young people smoking. So it gives a sort of thing to experiment, because that is the age where most of them start experimenting. And when you have that group in the school, then it becomes difficult. So you can see the common age of starting is 14 to 18 years in Indian subcontinent. So that is because this is mostly school age group people. So how we should control, the most important thing is the school. When we are in the school, there should be strong educational program for this, regarding the side effects of the tobacco, regarding the ill effects of the tobacco. And there should be constant motivation, because this is the age where you cannot you do some strict behavior, and we will call it. Motivation is the main thing with them. And sometimes psychological counseling also is very important.
Okay, one question solely to oncology now. In terms of the advancement in India now, because we are seeing cases of all kinds, the stages and the phases that we do understand. where do we stand in terms of dealing with it in a much better manner as compared to the past?
Uh, we are talking about cancer here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, we are much better as compared to what we were there 15 years back. I will give you one example. Uh, just 15 years back, when you heard about the cancer in any of your relatives, there were only few hospitals which to come into your mind, either AIMS, Rajiv Gandhi, or Tata Hospital. So at present, we have got n number of hospitals. There are huge number of qualified people. When I did my DM, there were only 2 seats in AIMS. Now there are 16 seats. So that means there are more qualified people. First important thing. Second thing, there is a percolation of the technology at the grassroots level. So that means we at a Nagpur, in the city of nearly 40 lakh population, 5 years back we had only one radiation machine. Now we have got 7 radiation machine. So that means key technology has reached the grassroots level. There is a more technically manpower people, more trained people. Awareness is very high, and the modes of awareness have become better. Now initially it was Doordarshan. We have got nearly 100 channels, social medias, and other awareness things. So the treatment has definitely improved, but unfortunately, the death rates are not gone down. There is a very difference between the advancement of the technology and treatment and the decrease in the mortality. And the reason in India it should have gone significantly down, but it has marginally gone down because still there is a lot of myths about the cancer. The most important thing is generally the patient presents in a very later stage, very advanced stage. That is the main. And the reason being lot of myths attached with the cancer. कैंसर की बायोप्सी नहीं करनी, कैंसर को नहीं छेड़ना, छेड़ने से कैंसर बढ़ जाता है, and lot of other alternative medications. Most of the people spend nearly 3-4 months initial phase in homeopathic and ayurvedic medications, where they waste very crucial time and the disease progresses. And the stage 1 disease, when it comes to stage 3, stage 4, automatically your chances of survival goes down.
Sure. So as we are the observing also the No Tobacco Day. I'll talk about 31st May, which is yet to come. What is your message today to so many people out there as to what they should do, how they should not only understand that how dangerous it is to have a tobacco product, but also how to spread this message all around that it only adds to your life, which will prevent it, and you should not do it. So what's your message?
See, we are celebrating this day. It is a one day, but it should be celebrated daily, whole year. And the main reason being is you should understand the amount of pleasure you get and amount of problem you get are unproportionate. Because when you see the patient who are suffering, when you see the suffering they are incurring, you will understand how harmful it is. When you see the oral malignancy patient getting chemotherapy or surgery, mutilation surgery which they get, then you will understand no, it is not a good thing. And the best way of prevention is not to start itself. That is the most important thing, because once they start, they continue. Second thing is there should be a lot of awareness at the grassroots level, because the socio-economically backward people are more prone for getting addicted as compared to the higher socio-economic people at the early age, because you can see, because they are exposed to the laboring class and other thing at a very early age, maybe just 6th or 7th standard students start getting tobacco in the form of kharra or this. So the best message which should be, it should not be started, and it is never late to quit. So the sooner the better. And there are a lot of studies which are seeing that once you quit, nearly in 30 minutes your blood pressure starts coming down, and your process start reversing, and over the period of years it completely goes down to the normal level. So it is a
so yeah, and even if you get withdrawal symptoms, I think it's best to kind of divert yourself constructively, positively.
There are other de-addiction centers. We have got nicotine chewing-gums where you can get the kick of the nicotine without having the side effects of the tar.
Sure. Thank you so much for all these insights and inputs. And I'm sure that people who are watching will only benefit from these kind of information that you have provided to us, Dr. Pandhania. Thank you so much for talking to us, and wish you all the best. And we only hope that you have less patients coming to address this disease, and you have more people being more aware that tobacco use is no good. So thank you so much, and we leave it there. On behalf of Arwal India and our team, we thank you so much.
Thank you.